Very often I get a question like, hey, I have my Ansible automation platform, aka AAP, and I also have my satellite server implemented. Everything is working fine. Right now, I would like to use my satellite as the source of information to my AAP, and we call this dynamic inventory. Is that something possible to do? Is that something feasible to do? Definitely yes. If you have no clue about this, fear not, because this video is going to show you how to proceed in order to achieve this goal. So let's go to the video. Right here, we can see the satellite server, and in the next tab, we have our Ansible automation platform. So let's know a little bit better our environments at this moment. So I can click on host, all hosts, and then I can see this list of content hosts. And this is the information that I'm looking for to be on AAP side automatically as you enjoy. So if we take a look on AAP, I can click on my left menu, automation execution, infrastructure, inventories. And at this moment, I just have one inventory, which is the standard, which is a demo inventory. So let's click on this create inventory button, create inventory. And I'm a bit lazy today, so let me copy from here. The name of my inventory is gonna be my set02 servers, and organization is gonna be default. And that's all. So let me just click on create inventory. And from here, if we click on groups, see, there is no group, this is expected. There is no host, this is expected. Should I click on create host over here and start filling this form? Nope, 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 don't do that. Let's cancel. The main idea is AAP connecting to satellite and pulling this information automatically, okay? And the way to do that is via sources. So there is this tab over here called source. I can have many or different sources in a single inventory. For the sake of this video and for the sake of understanding, I'm gonna just use one source pointing to our satellite server, specifically this one over here. So let's click on the button, create source. Over here, I can set the name of the source. So let me type set02 and the source. So you can see on this list, a drop-down menu, a long list of different providers. The one that I'm looking for is Red Hat Satellite 6. And I can see some additional information, but it seems weird because there is no way here to inform like the path or the URL of my satellite server, which is this one specifically, or credential. Yeah, you're right, because this information should be coming from credential. And whenever I click on credential, there is no credential yet. So we have to create this first. So let's hit cancel. From here on the left menu again, we can see automation execution, infrastructure, credentials. So this is the place where we will do our initial configuration about credential. Let's click on create credential. The name of this credential will be set02. The organization here will be default, and the credential type, I can search by set, and then I can see Red Hat Satellite 6. So let's pick Red Hat Satellite 6. There you go. Now I can see my Satellite 6 URL. You can type, but again, I'm a bit lazy today, so I can paste over here. If you ask me, okay, that backslash in the end of the URL is gonna create some problem, I have no clue. Let's give it a try. Let's see if this is gonna work. In theory, it should work. Should not be a problem. The username, you need some username that will be able to authenticate on satellite and pull that information. Password, the password for that specific user. Once you have this done, click on create credential, and that's it. Now you have your credential for Red Hat Satellite 602.king.lab. Beautiful. So let's return to our inventory. Again, automation execution, the left menu, infrastructure, inventories. We can see my set02 server. At this moment, check this out, there is 0 hosts. So nothing here yet. So let's click over there. Let's click on sources. Let's click on create source. The name of this source is going to be set02. Hey, Wally, this is the same name of the credential. It matters? Not at all. You can put anything that you want to here. Just keep in mind something reasonable, something that will remind you which configuration you're pointing to, but they should not be matching. The source here will be Satellite 6 or Red Hat Satellite 6. And now the credential. So look at that. You can see over here, set02. This is the name of the credential that we created with all that information about Satellite. There are some additional information over here. I will not play with them yet. We'll come back to this page yet in this video. So let's just hit the button, create source, and that's all. From here, let's click on inventories. I would like to show one thing to you first. This is the inventory that we created. There is 0 hosts and 1 source. So yes, this was not synced yet. Because of that, we don't have any information about content hosts yet. So let's click on inventory, my set02 servers, and let's click on groups. No groups yet. Let's click on hosts, no hosts yet, expected. Let's click on sources. So here in this page, we have set02. This never updated on last job status. This is very important because this is telling us something like, hey, I was not able to connect to Satellite and pull the information, so I have no clue yet. How can we force this sync? There are different ways to do that, but one of them is this button, sync inventory source. So let's just hit this button and we can see that the job is running right now. Basically, what will happen here is a fail. All right, what's going on? Let's click on the fail. We can see that this is failing. And if we take a look here, this is the log of that connection, what's happening, and then self-sign certificate in certificate chain. We already know the reason, like this AAP is trying to connect to Satellite using HTTPS, but this AAP also has no clue about the certificate from that Satellite. Basically, there are some ways that I can handle this. One of them is importing the CA certificate from Satellite to AAP environment. Another way is just saying, hey, let's skip this one. I trust that Satellite and let's move it on. Let's go in this video the second one, and let me know down below in the comments if you like to see how to do this in the first one for this specific scenario, which is all in one. Let me open the third tab, and this tab is a link to our official documentation, Ansible Automation Platform documentation, and we can see over here supported inventory plugin templates. Some of them, let's pick Satellite 6, and I would like to show you some important information here. Those are variables that will enable or disable some stuff when talking about AAP and Satellite. And check this beauty. This totally deserves your subscription already. So validate underscore certs equal false. Basically, what this is telling is, hey AAP, whenever you are connecting to Satellite, let's skip the validate certificates and move it on. So how to do that? Let's come back over here. Let's click on inventories on the left menu, automation execution, infrastructure, inventories. Let's click on my set02 server. Let's click on sources. This is the source in question. Let's click on the pen. Let's scroll down. And you can see this text box over here, source variables. So validate underscore cert is going to be false or column false, exactly as this is telling, hey, I would like to skip this certificate. So we set this configuration over here. Now we need to sync. And again, this is a different way. You can see over here on the top right corner, sync inventory source. So let's click on that button. And then this is running. I can come back to my inventory and see what's going on. There we go. This is success. I can click on that link just to see what's going on or to see under the hood and check this out. We are still able to see some warnings, but as mentioned before, this is just skipping. And then we can see now 5 groups and 9 hosts. Pretty cool one. All right, let's click on inventories on our left menu and check this out. Now this is gorgeous because I have my set02 servers. I can see 9 hosts. I can see 5 groups. I can see 1 source. So let's click over there. Let's click on groups. And then there you go. From here, we can see some amazing information, like some information that got created, some groups that got created, automatically when pulling this information from satellite. And here we can see some hosts or content hosts imported and associated with some specific groups. So let's do one double check over here. This is a nomenclature format. This is going to be standard to all of them. And then we can see content view. So if your machine is consuming content from one specific content view, there you go. We have also HG. This is a host group. We also have content coming from lifecycle environments. We also do have some information about location and organization. So let's play with this host group. Let's come back to satellite. To see your host group, let's click on configure, host groups, and then look at that. The host group is HG underscore simple underscore stuff, HG underscore simple underscore stuff, and I can see one host over here. If I click in this host, this is node 02 rel 9. So let's take a look over here. Let's click on this group. I can see the hosts on the host tab, node 02 rel 9. Really cool one. This is gorgeous. This is amazing. All right, so we have this already working, which is pretty cool, pretty fancy. There is one more feature that I would like to show you here. This is called host collections. I have already a video talking about host collection on satellite, but I will not spend time on this. Probably will be on the card or will be on the end of this video. But just to let you know, this is another way that you can group on satellite for different purposes, different ideas. Take a look on that video, just to learn more. But you can also use this in your favor when thinking about AAP, because I would like to create a group on satellite and use this on my dynamic inventory. But that seems weird because I have already some host groups over here and they are not visible in this page. Why is that? Something's missing, something's wrong. Let's come back to that documentation and check this out. There is one more variable over here called want underscore host collections equal false or column false. By default, this will be false, and because of that, we are not seeing this information on our satellite. So we can see over here that we have 5 entries. Let's do this. Let's click on sources. Let's click on the pen of set02. Scroll down. Remember, source variables. Let's paste over there. And instead of false, I would like to set this to true, exactly like this. So let's hit save source. Again, if I come back to the inventory, and we can do that for investigation and learning and see groups, there is no additional information yet because this group is not synced. So I need to update my source, or I need to sync my source. So let's click on sources. Let's click on this button, sync inventory source, or let me show you another way because we were here before. I can just sync from this button. So let's sync, let's wait, and let's see. You don't need to be here. Like, let's get out. This is running. Okay, success. Are you ready? So let's click on groups and look at that. Now we have 7. Before, you used to have 5 or 4. I don't remember anymore. So let's filter by collection or COLL. And we can see that we have 2 host collections over here. And again, we can do that double check. Let's see, we have 4 over here. This is another very, very common question. Hey, I have 4 host collections, but Ansible is just picking 2 of them. Why is that? Because if you take a look, 2 of them has 0 content hosts. So AAP is just gonna pull the information or the host collections that has any content host inside. If this host collection has 0 content hosts, don't bother. I will not pull this information. This is the rule. All right, with that said, let's pick one, bash HC. So if we click over here, I can click on hosts, and then we can see node 03 rel 9 and node 04 rel 10. Let's do a double check on AAP. This is the group. Let's click on hosts, node 03 rel 9 and node 04 rel 10. Pretty cool one. All right. What else? Let me do one more thing here. Let's say that I would like to create a new host collection, and this will be a host collection for you amazing people watching this video. And let's hit save. For this host collection, I'm gonna add one specific machine, this task content host, and there you go. Now we have this host collection. This host collection has one specific server. Let's come back. Let's click on group. Let's filter by of collection. And yeah, I'm still with two, but you already know we need to sync this content. Then I can click over here, sync inventory. We can wait for this to finish. Good. So let's return to group. Let's filter again by collection. And now we can see this group over here for you guys, amazing people watching this video. So if we click over there, we can do a double check on hosts. And again, now we can see the machine that was added on satellite. And again, this is dynamic because anytime that I play with this configuration on satellite side, anytime that someone work with this project on AAP, eventually this will get updated. I'm going to explain why eventually, but this is the main point. Let me show one more thing over here. So this is one amazing host collection, but I don't need this anymore. So let me remove, delete, and we return to the original state. Like I have 4 host collections and just 2 of them are populated. So let's come back to AAP. Let me click on my inventory. Let me click on the source and let's sync once again. In theory, what is expected here to happen is something like, okay, I have my AAP. My AAP is connecting to satellite, is pulling that information. And once I remove that entry from satellite, this information should be removed from AAP, right? So let's do a double check. Group, collection. Something seems off because if we do a double check on satellite, I don't have that host collection anymore. However, that's still here. And if I take a look, it still points into that server. This can be a problem, but why is this happening? Can you tell me? Definitely yes. Let's come back to the source. Let's edit this source, set02. Scroll down. Remember, I mentioned before, there are some additional fields and information and also checkbox. One of them is this, overwrite. Basically, anytime that you would like to update this and reflect what's going on the satellite side, just keep this one checked because this will guarantee that the information on your AAP will be reflecting the information that you have in your satellite side. So let's hit save. And again, by just saving, it is not enough. We can confirm that. If we return to group, filter by COLL, we can see that group, it's still here. So let's hit source, let's sync. The sync is finished. We can see success. So let's return to group. Let's filter by collection. And then right now I can see that information. So let's do again, just to be sure. And I'm going to create a new name, HC, new name here. So let's hit save. I'm going to add like 2 of them. So we can see set02 node 5 rel 10 and tests content hosts. Let's click on source, refresh. It is concluded. Let's click on group, filter by COLL, and then new name here for host collection. If we click, we can do a double check on hosts, and there you go. They are there. So let's return to satellite. Let's get rid of this host collection. We return to the initial state. So my set02 server inventory. Let's click on source tabs and let's refresh. Sync once again. And the expected behavior now is to be matching with the information on satellite side. So success, groups, filter by collection, just two. I believe the most common question at this moment is something like this. Hey, but this is my inventory and my inventory should be updated like often, or at least I would like to have this reflecting what is on Satellite. Anytime that I work with Ansible automation platform and run some playbook or some jobs, some new stuff that I'm going to hit those clients, I would like to be sure that this information is accurate, is updated. Do I have to put like a cron job like every second or every 10 seconds or something like that? No, don't bother. Let's click here again, source. Let's click on the pen and update on launch. So anytime that your job or some job, and I have no video here yet talking about this, but will be available soon. Anytime that you have this complete workflow work with AAP and you pick some information from this specific inventory, what will happen is that call or that job is gonna hit this inventory and will say, hey, I need the information. This is a launch. So this is gonna trigger this inventory just to get this information updated anytime. So with that said, if you spin up 10 different jobs with this enable, each job is gonna force your AAP to sync this information from Satellite. And if there are chains in between, there you go. You should be able to pick all those chains live. So let's just keep this one enable and save the source again. And from here, we can see some overview about this configuration, this source, like updated on launch. Anytime, again, that you spin up a job, this information is gonna get updated. Override will guarantee that you have the same information on Satellite and AAP side. Verbosity 1 will be enough. You don't need to bump this unless you are facing some problem looking for troubleshooting. This is a Satellite, and I believe the most important here are the two of them. This is to skip the certificate on Satellite side, and this is to enforce that we like to see the host collection on AAP as part of the group. So if we return over here, now we have those groups, including host collections. We also do have those servers, and we are good to go. Let me show one more thing. This one, 9 hosts, 7 groups, 1 source. One more bonus to you guys. So let's see if this is indeed working, because I can get my group or my hosts. And let me pick this server over here. This is my capsule. Let's select this button, or let's click on this button, run command, and I would like to run something against that machine. So I can use my command. The argument will be host name, verbosity, yeah, no problem. This limit is because I picked that specific machine. Next, execution environment, don't bother at this moment. Credential, I need a credential to access that server. Again, I will not explain all these steps about credential, but this is pretty quick over here. Let's suppose that I have my Ansible automation platform and I need to access one machine. I can do this access in different ways. Specifically for this kind of scenario, I can use the credential, username and password, or I can use SSH key. I'm not gonna use SSH key. I will create another video talking about this, but let's do this real quick. You can cancel, or you can go straight to the point that I'm gonna tell you. No need to cancel. Basically, we are coming back to credentials. So on the left menu, automation controller, infrastructure, credentials. And over here, I would like to create a new credential. So let's click on this create credential. The name of my credential will be local root or root users or something as you wish. The organization is gonna be default. I'm using the default organization. Again, there are different kind of credentials. This is a machine credential. The username I'm logging is root. Then I'm gonna type the password. See, I have the field here to put my SSH private key, assuming that I have everything set up to SSH private key, sign an SSH certificate, and different methods. Again, let's keep this simple. the username, and the password, and that's all. With that said, create credential. That's it. Simple, simple. So automation execution, infrastructure, inventories, left menu. Let's click on my set02 server, hosts, cap02. This is the one that I would like to do this test because I'm very, very excited. I like to start doing stuff on those machines, you know? And this will be my first test. So run command, the module will be command again. The argument will be the command that you like to run, host name, just to be sure that that is the machine in question. Extra variables, should I need to add something here? No, host name and that's all. Next, execution environment, don't bother. Credential, look that beauty. Local root, assuming that my username and password are accurate. I believe I didn't do any mistake, but let's see. Next, this is just a review about what's gonna happen. This is the command, this is the host name, this is the limit, which means I'm going to target this machine specifically. I'm not going to run this against all of them. And let's hit finish. So basically what's gonna happen now is AAP is gonna connect to that machine using that credential, assuming the credential is accurate, and is gonna execute the command. So we can see the information over here. If you'd like to see more details, you can definitely click on top of that link or that information. So this is cap02, change it, command, and this is the beauty one that I would like to get your attention, because this data, it's like a verbosity. We can see some additional information, what's going on under the hood. Then there are a bunch of information here, but the most important that I would like to highlight is this. This is the command that was executed. CMD is the module in question that we are using. The command was hostname. We have a bunch of information here, but this is the output. It's the same as you go to your machine, cap02.king.lab, execute hostname. This is the output. In other words, we were able to execute this properly against this machine with no problem at all, just using that credential. In other words, the credentials are okay, right? I didn't do anything wrong. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the kind of integration that is amazing, like Satellite and Ansible automation platform. You see a lot of videos like this here in this channel. Also, feel free to join us in our Discord channel if you're not yet subscribed. And also feel free to subscribe in this channel if you're not yet subscribed. So every week we release a new video. Satellite, Ansible, Bash, Python, or anything else that you like to see. So just let me know down below in the comments or in the Discord channel. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.